Hi, 7th grade. So today what I'm wanting to do is make 5.4 and 5.5 into two, and take these two lessons and make them into one, because I feel like they're both very simple and we don't need to waste too much time on them. 5.4 is all about solving for the variable by using cross multiplication. Okay, and I feel like we've already touched on that, so I feel like you're going to do wonderful on this. So we're going to kind of scoot through it a little quickly. So it is kind of good that I've got the video made, because if I go too fast, you can pause the video, rewind the video, take really good notes today, okay? All right, so on a new piece of paper, I want you to write 5.4, and you can also write 5.5, because we're going to do both. 5.4, we're just going to do some examples together, okay? So here's our first example I need you to write in your notebook. W over 6 equals 6 over 9. If I said to solve the proportion and find what W equals, all you have to do is cross multiplication. 6 times 6, whoops, that's a big highlighter, let's switch that up a bit. 6 times 6 is 36. And now do the other one. W times 9. Now, what is W times 9? 9W. And then you ask yourself, how do I get W all by itself? Well, I do the opposite of what's happening. It's being multiplied to the 9. So then I will divide by 9. Okay, that would cancel those out. 36 divided by 9 is 4. So W equals 4. That's your final answer. That's all you've got to do. Let's do another example. 12 over 10 is equal to A over 15. They're set equal. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. Doesn't matter which one you go to first. I'm going to do the 10A. 10 times A is 10A. Okay, and now I'm going to multiply the other one, which is 15 times 12. All right, so let me grab my green highlighter. 15 times 12. 15 times 12, when you do that, you get 180. Now, how do you solve for A? You got to get the 10 gone. It's being multiplied, so we have to do the opposite, which is to divide. 10 over 10 is 1, so it's gone. I'm just left with an A. 180 divided by 10 is the same thing as 18 over 1, which is just 18. And our final answer is A equals 18. Like I said, you guys, this chapter, incredibly easy. I feel like you guys know how to do this already right away. Okay, let's do another example in our book. Let's do this nice spicy looking one. 40 divided by z plus 1 equals 15 plus 6. This may be the most important example out of this lesson that you write in your notebook, because it is different than anything we've ever done. Okay, so let me go and grab a little piece of paper for some workspace. So do not panic just because this one looks different. You're still going to do the same process of cross multiplication. 40 times 6 is 240 equals, and now we're going to cross multiply these other guys. Now, when I cross multiply these other guys, here's the only thing you have to remember. I'm taking 15 times this whole thing. If I'm taking 15 times that whole thing, I have to remember parentheses and the distributive property. Okay, so what it's going to look like on the other side of my equation is 15 times the whole thing. Now to solve, I have to do the distributive property. 15 times z is 15z. 15 times 1 is 15. Equals 240. Now, to get z all by itself, I cannot do what's directly happening to z first. Right now, directly, it's being multiplied by 15. I cannot do that first. I have to do this first, get that gone. It is a plus 15, so we do the opposite, which would be to minus 15. Okay, so now we have 240, subtract 15, we get 225 equals 15z. Now how do I get z all by itself? Now I can divide by 15. Divide by 15. 225 divided by 15 is 15. So 15 equals z. And that is your final answer. So remember, I'm going to just give you a review real quick. The big thing we needed to remember here is that we took 15 times that whole thing. To do that, it's like saying 15 times this and 15 times this, which is just like doing the distributive property. So if you come across one of those in your homework, remember, you have to use parentheses. All right. That's basically it for this lesson. Now, I don't want to give you guys tons and tons and tons of problems to have to solve when you know it's so easy. So here we go. Here's your homework. Super, super simple. You're going to be on 190, page 190. Let me write it down real quick. You are going to do problems. It's going to be a little different, okay, guys? A little strange. You're going to do problems 18 through 21. And then I also want you to do 25 through 27. Now that's not it. That's just your homework for lesson 5.4. Like I said, we're going to squish these two lessons together because they're awfully easy. Just those, let's see, it's 4, 5, 6, 7 problems. That's it. 7 problems for 5.4. Now, we're going to talk about 5.5. 5.5 is slope. Now, we've talked about slope a little bit. Slope is at the rate at which a line slants, okay? When you are trying to find the slope, all you have to do is go find 2 points that hit the crosshairs. On this graph, I can see that there's a point here that hit the crosshairs. If I follow the line, the next point that hits crosshairs is right here. So find 2 points that hit crosshairs. Once you find those 2 points, you need to calculate the rise over the run. So you ask yourself, how much did it go up or down to get from that point to that point? And then how much did it go left or right to get from that point to that point? So for example, on this one, it looks like our dots, if I'm going to start at the bottom dot, I had to go up 1, 2, 3 to get to that same level. So the rise is 3. And then once I was there, I had to run 1, 2 to get to that dot. So my slope is up 3 over 2. Now let's say I would have had to go backwards. If I would have gone, gosh, let's say instead of going from this bottom point, I want to start from the top point and go down. Then I went down 1, 2, 3, which would make this negative 3. And then I went backwards 1, 2, which would make this negative 2. But do you see how no matter which way I did it, I will still get the same slope? Because isn't negative 3 over negative 2 the same thing as 3 over 2? Because a negative over a negative is still a positive. That's the only way to find slope, you guys. You just count. How many did you rise over how many did you run? We'll do a few examples with you before I give you your homework assignment. Let's do example number 1. Now this is so nice. They already gave us the 2 points in the crosshairs. That's not always going to be what it is, but here's a point in the crosshair, and if I follow the line, the next point in the crosshairs would be that one. How do I get from one point to the other? First, you ask yourself, how much do I rise? So to get from here to up here, I will up 1, 2. So my rise is a 2. Now, how much do I run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is 2 over 5. Or, some of you guys are like, but I like to start at the top dot. That's okay. Now I'm just going to go down 2, so my slope would be negative 2. And I'm going to go backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Backwards 5. And like we just said, a negative over a negative is still a positive. So both of these slopes are perfect. Number 2. Aha. This one's a little tricky. Here's what you have to be super careful of. What is the scale factor of the x and the y-axis? What I mean by that is the x-axis is going by ones. Do you agree? Because it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My scale for my y, however, is not going by ones, it's going by twos. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, which means everything in between is a 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need to be super careful when looking at the slope on this one. If I want to go from this point to this point, I know it's not in the crosshairs. The reason why is because the scale is weird on the y-axis. How many do I rise to get to that level? Now, I'm not going to count by twos. I'm going to count by ones, even though my scale is going up by twos. I'm going to say this is 1, 2, 3. So I went up 3, but now remember, now my scales are 1 for my x's. So how many do I run? Just one big one, because I'm still going by ones here. So my slope is 3 over 1. Now once again, you could have gone down 2. You could start here and say I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, so it'd be negative 3 over 1. If I go backwards 1, it's still negative. So negative 3 over negative 1, same slope. All right, you guys, that's it for slope. Super easy. All you got to know is that it's rise over run. Okay? And 2 negatives make a positive. Here's your homework for this lesson. It's on page 196. I want you guys to do 4 through 9. Just find me the slope. 4 through 9. Okay? So that's not too bad. Your homework is not as long as you think. It's just a few questions, okay? So you're going to do 5.4 homework, and on the same page, you'll still do your 5.5 homework. The reason why we're smashing these two lessons together is because they are awfully easy. And also, if you turn the page, we have 5.6. We're going to actually skip that lesson on Friday, and we are going to get ready for a chapter test, okay? So Friday, we'll do a chapter review. Today, you're just going to do our last two lessons. All right, guys, remember, please stop the video, rewind if you need to, take really, really good notes. You never know when your teacher is going to let you use your notes on a test or a quiz. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions at all. And remember, we can ask all of these questions on Friday when we go over the homework. All right, bye, guys.